Hello, Commanders fans. Today, we have some hot news that you can't miss, so get ready because there's a lot of important information coming your way. Before we begin, we'd like to take this opportunity to subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and stay up to date on all the news about our Washington Commanders. Don't forget to leave a like, which greatly strengthens our community and helps bring this content to the most passionate fans of the team. Now, without further ado, let's get straight to today's news.
Washington Commanders face $16 million court decision over Payne. Payne may have played his last game for the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders will have to make a decision soon regarding the future of defensive tackle Payne. Payne will become a free agent in 2027, but the Commanders could save money if they release him this year. ESPN journalist John Payne analyzed Payne's situation as a free agent. Payne has one more year on his contract and will cost $28 million to the salary cap next season. That's the fourth largest salary cap space for a defensive tackle and a lot of space for a player with only one Pro Bowl selection in 2022 and no All-Pro selections in his career, Payne wrote. But the Commanders were pleased with his performance in 2025. Several offensive coaches who faced the Washington defense said their biggest concern before games against Washington was Payne and the performance of the Commanders' interior defensive line. There's a real chance, according to a team source, that Washington will allow Payne to play the final year of his contract instead of extending it and reducing its impact on the salary cap. Furthermore, if he's waived, Payne would save Washington $16.8 million, the same amount it would cost to replace him. If they choose to keep him at that cost, it could pressure Payne to get a multi-year contract in the next offseason. And if he leaves after 2026, Washington would be entitled to a compensatory pick in the 2027 draft. Payne could become a free agent for the Commanders. Payne, 28, made 46 tackles last season for the Commanders. He also contributed 3 sacks and 5 passes defended. Payne could be an important player for the Commanders' defense, but knowing how much the team could save by waiving him, the idea of moving on has certainly crossed General Manager Adam Peters' mind. It remains to be seen what the best course of action will be for the Commanders, but everything certainly indicates that we will have a period of transition, and Payne may be looking for a new team for the first time in his career.
Super Bowl Sunday has arrived. Fans will gather for parties across the country and around the world to celebrate the end of another fascinating season. But for the Washington Commanders, the focus will be on potential reinforcements who could join the franchise in free agency. Adam Peters has a lot of work ahead of him this offseason. The Commanders have only managed 5 wins a year after reaching the NFC Championship game. The general manager went all in, using experienced veterans to lead Washington to the title and keeping the vast majority of players who contributed so much to the club in 2024. The strategy proved disastrous, and fans are hoping for a change of approach this time. The Commanders have only 2 picks in the first 4 rounds of the 2026 NFL Draft, and 6 in total. For Peters to assemble the ideal team, he needs to maximize the considerable financial resources at his disposal. The Commanders should keep an eye on Kenneth Walker III during the Super Bowl. If the Commanders make the expected sacrifices, they could have over $100 million to spend. Peters needs to ditch the one-year contracts and focus on players coming off their rookie contracts who still have their best football ahead of them. For this grand plan to work, Washington needs another productive running back capable of playing alongside Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, a 7th-round draft pick. That's where Kenneth Walker III comes in. He's not the greatest running back to ever play in the league, but he's extremely productive and capable of becoming a useful dual threat alongside quarterback Jaden Daniels. With new offensive coordinator David Blau expecting to implement a more West Coast-style scheme, the former Michigan State star seems like the perfect choice. Walker surpassed the 1,000 rushing yard mark in 2 of his first 4 seasons. He amassed 4,560 total yards and 31 touchdowns, a pretty solid performance for a second-round pick.
Adding him to a group of running backs that already includes Krosky Merritt and Chris Rodriguez Jr., if he re-signs, makes perfect sense. According to SpotTrack, Walker is expected to receive a 4-year contract worth $33.59 million, averaging $8.39 million per season should he become a free agent. Paying running backs on their second contract is always risky, but he has proven relatively resilient and consistent during his time with the Seattle Seahawks so far, and at 25, he's an investment in the future. A good performance in the Super Bowl will only increase Walker's chances of securing a lucrative contract extension this offseason. The Seahawks have plenty of salary cap space to keep him if the value is viable. Otherwise, the market could open up quickly, and the Commanders make more sense than most.
The Washington Commanders already have a clear idea of the price that could be needed to close a trade involving star pass rusher T.J. Watt. The franchise from the capital experienced one of the most disappointing seasons in the entire NFL in 2025. After surprising the league by reaching the National Conference Championship game in 2024, the expectation was for continued high-level performance. However, their performance dropped drastically, and the team finished the year with only 5 wins, far below expectations. Much of this decline can be explained by the physical problems faced by 2 of the team's main stars. Quarterback Jaden Daniels and wide receiver Terry McLaurin missed a good part of the season due to injury, seriously compromising offensive production. Meanwhile, the defense failed to compensate for these absences and ended up among the worst units in the league. The numbers make this evident. The Commanders allowed the 3rd highest number of touchdowns in the NFL and had enormous difficulties pressuring opposing quarterbacks, especially on the edges of the defensive line. The lack of a dominant pass rusher was evident throughout the entire season. Given this scenario, reinforcing the defense with a proven star should be a top priority this offseason. And if Washington decides to pursue an elite player via trade, the Pittsburgh Steelers emerge as a possible trading partner, mainly due to T.J. Watt's situation. During an appearance on Pittsburgh's 93.7 The Fan radio station, journalist Ray Fittipaldo of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette revealed what the defender's market value could be. According to him, if the Steelers actually consider trading Watt, the compensation would likely not exceed a second-round draft pick. This information was echoed by radio host Andrew Filipponi on social media, reinforcing the idea that the price for one of the top defenders of the last decade may be more accessible than many imagined. It's worth remembering that Watt signed a 3-year contract extension last offseason, becoming the highest-paid player in NFL history among those who don't play quarterback. Still, his recent production raises questions. He has totaled 18.5 sacks in the last 2 seasons, a number lower than the impressive 19 sacks recorded in 2023 alone. On Washington's side, there is a significant obstacle. The franchise does not have a second-round pick in the 2026 draft. Even so, a second-round pick in 2027 could be part of the negotiations, especially considering that analysts see that year's class as more talented.